session of WBN I Empower workshop series. Now, today is on cash flow management during a pandemic. The title of today's workshop couldn't come at any better time. Now, especially now that everyone is feeling a pinch of the pandemic. So by end of this workshop, we hope that we will walk away with solutions and ways to strategize your cash flow and will eventually enable you for your business to sustain. Not only that, we also hope that the tips given today will help you manage your personal financial plannings. Today's event is an initiative under WBN, which is WIEF Businesswoman Network, designed to equip women entrepreneurs with business know-how, e-commerce capabilities, as well as knowledge in business growth and diversifications. Now, our trainer today is a CEO and founder of Soul House in Randburg, a business training and coaching firm, has helped hundreds of SME to build profitable, sustainable, and scalable business. Now, with 14 years of experience under her belt, she believes that everyone can turn their passion into profitable business. Without further ado, please welcome Hui Shan. Over to you, Hui Shan.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, glad to be here with you guys. Wonderful to be here. Hi, everybody. My name is Hui Shan. I am basically, like, what Ella was saying, I'm a business coach. So do allow me to share, with starting to introduce myself a little bit. So I'm going to share my deck here. This is me, right? I actually comes from, I mean, if you're from Malaysia, you probably know of a place called Ipoh, right? It's not a very big place. And this is where I grew up with my two brothers. I'm the eldest. My parents, my dad, he is actually an insurance salesman. My mom, she's actually a housewife. So together, in this little family, I learned some very important knowledge from both my parents. And what did my dad tells me? He told me this very important thing. Be prepared, he says, right? He says, especially, women, it's like, we are not physically as strong as the guys, but, we need to survive in this world as well. So being prepared, it is so important for us. So because of my dad's philosophy, I am I'm grateful. Yeah, because, in my little town, not say too little, right? In school, there was only 7 of us who actually have a motorbike license, right? Because my dad believed that having a motorbike license, in the event that if I do not get to earn enough money to get a car, at least there's a motorbike, I can actually ride my motorbike. And he also believed that in the event that if something happens to me, right, I must be able to defend myself. So he sent me for self-defense classes, right? Of course, later on, I know, the best defense is when someone comes after you, run for your life. And that is what the best defense is. But, I went for my classes, right? I was almost black belt, in karate that time. And he was also the one that told me that, hey, the new era that time, you must learn about computers because, that is a new generation. Without knowing how to do computers, right, to use the computers, you would be at a loss. And that's where my dad is, be prepared. My mom came in, with a different philosophy because my mom, she's actually a housewife. So being a housewife, to her, it's like, hey, being thrifty is very important because my dad was the sole breadwinner. So when he brought back the money, so my mom was the one that's managing it. So she taught me saying that, hey, it's important for us to actually make sure that we live within our means, right? Go and get the things that is important, but not all the things that you want because, we probably cannot afford everything. So, and she taught me as a woman, very important to actually not to know, even if I don't know how to sew my own clothes, she said, you must know how to alter clothes. Why? Because a woman's body changes due to pregnancy, due to age, due to different reasons. And if you know how to alter your clothes, that's where you got advantage. So forever, you're going to have clothes that is fitting. So my important lessons for my two parents. So my parents, from there, I felt that, hey, what they've taught me actually served me in my life thereafter. Why? Because this knowledge of being pre-prepared and being thrifty. So when, it was the recession in the 1980s, that time, right? Because I was still studying. And I was self-sponsoring myself, right? I need to get an income. And in my mind, that time was like, regardless, of the recession, I am going to get a job during my summer vacation, right? How? In my mind, it was like, without doubt, I am going to, because I don't drive that time, right? So I'll go onto the train, and from the train, I will actually take off. I'll sort of come down from the train, go to the nearest employment center, right? Look for a job, go for interview, and hop back onto the train again. And then, if need to, I'll go on to the next stop, the next stop, the next stop. Of course, every stop brings me further away from my home, but that was not in my mind. In my mind, I was so focused that I need to get a job, right? I need to get a job. And therefore, eventually, during that whole recession, I was blessed. I managed to get a job in order to support myself. The second thing came in, right? There was inside of a failed marriage, right? A lot of my parents, my friends, they was in an unhappy marriage. What they need to do was they have no choice, right? Because financially they're not independent. So they have to actually hold on, and suffer in silence. But thank goodness for me, I was able to actually make a decision and to leave and to start a new life. Third big incident in my life, I was retrenched. And because of my parents' knowledge that was embarked onto me, right, I managed to actually survive during the period that was retrenched until I found a new job. So to me, this has served me. And I also want to share with all that it's like, hey, I didn't come from a rich family. I came from a very average family, a working class. And because of the knowledge of being able to manage my finance, so suddenly, life becomes so much more better. So it's with this thing in mind, right, that I want to share with all, as in like, how can we move forward into during this pandemic situation, right? So, okay, I want you guys to look at it and say, hey, if I'm going to ask you to complete this phrase, right? Complete this phrase. What are you going to say? Money? What do you have about money? Right? You can put it in a chat group, right? For the fun of it, as in like, hey, what does money means to you? What's the first thing that came to mind? And for me, what came to mind was this: money is most misunderstood. Why do I say that? Right? I'm sure based on a lot of our experience, we have a lot of all these thoughts that come in. If you ask about money, some people will tell you that money is evil. And immediately someone will tell you that, no, 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 money is not evil. Money is just a tool. And someone else will come in, time is money. And another person is, they'll tell you that, you got no money, you got no honey, right? And also, what about those that says money is everything? And immediately someone will tell you and says, no, money cannot buy you happiness, right? So, and lots more. So what I'm trying to tell here is, actually, how do you look at money? It's actually just a perspective, right? So your perspective is dependent on our own life and what we have actually, the learnings that we have throughout our life. And that determines our perspective on money. So today, what I want to share with you guys is, hey, maybe my perspective on money, and maybe perhaps if I'm able to change some of your perspective, towards something new, hey, why not? I would have achieved my objective for today, right? So what is this? During this pandemic period, right? And then when Zua, from WBN, right, came to me and says, hey, Hui Shan, can you do a talk on this? Then I was like, very excited. And some of the questions that came up was like, hey, pandemic, I need more money. Where to get more money, right? And yeah, and how can I borrow more? That is a lot of us having this perspective. How can I get more money during this period? But let's look at it a little bit differently, right? Why did I say look at different money? Because we think that, if we're going to get the money, right, we are going to solve our money issue, right? We'll be more happy because now we've got more money to spend. But let's for a moment think about it differently, right? You look at it here. Does money means less, more money means less money issues, less money problems? Of a lot of celebrities, right? They live in big houses, they have got great cars, right? And in the end, after those times, suddenly they are bankrupt. What happened? They've got lots of money, but they are still bankrupt. Why? And those of us who are working full-time, part-time, right, all the time, and at the end of the month, it's like, we still don't have money. What is wrong? But let's look again at our friend here, right? If you know of our Indian richest beggar, look at him. What is our friend? If you have seen him before, his name is what? Bharat Jain. Bharat Jain, right? He actually stays in Mumbai. And what happened in Mumbai is, he's actually a beggar. That is his business. And what he does is, he'll be like begging, and he earns roughly about like 20 like Indian rupiah to about 5,000, from 1,000 to about 5,000. So roughly that will be like in USD, there will be about, let's say about maybe about 20 plus ringgit to about 20 plus USD to about, let's say about 70 USD, about that range, right? So it's not a lot of money that's earning, but because of his, hard work, he worked easily, more than 10 hours in a day, right? Rain or shine, and also during the weekends, no holidays for him. And because of that, he earns about close to about USD 1,000 a month, right? That comes out about 75 rupiah, 75,000 rupiah. And well, that is actually much more than a lot of people in India, they are earning now, right? And of course, he's a great saver. He saved up all his money, and he managed to he bought this apartment, right? This apartment is about 8 million rupiah and about USD about 100,000. And he even owned a shop that is he rent out, for someone who's selling fruit juice. Wow. And that earns him another 100 plus USD per month. So guys, right? A lot of hard work. And he is earning and he's saving, and that gives rise to his wealth, right? Do you think he has achieved financial freedom? Yeah, kind of in a way, right? So that he doesn't have to worry about, having to work for the rest of his life. And what about our great friend, Warren Buffett? I always admire Warren Buffett. This is the house he has lived in, when he was first got married. At that time, it was about USD about 35,000, right? That was in 1958. And from there, today's value is about 500,000, 250,000 USD. And in terms of the market valuation, it's about 600,000, 650,000, USD. And what happened, right? He's still driving his car, his reliable car for all these years. And he is, among the billionaires, the richest billionaires in the whole world. But humble lifestyle. And yet, he has got a lot of wealth. And he says that, his house is actually his third best investment. So look at it, guys. Let's look at it. Is it because of what we're earning? The more we earn, that gives us more money? Or actually, it's not just the earning, but it's how much we save that makes the difference. So you look at the COVID-19 at this moment, this dilemma that we're having, right? Yeah, based on this New Straits Times, and this is a newspaper, a local newspaper in Malaysia, right? We're saying that in May itself, during the start of the MCO, probably about 2 months after the start of MCO, right? Besides ordinary people, the business owners are the one that was actually hit the greatest. These are the medium and small size business owners, right? And of course, in all other countries, those in the retail side, the F&B side, the food and beverages side, the travel, the tourism, these are the people that are hit, the most. And why? There was delay in payment, right? There was not enough money moving around. A lot of projects are cancelled, unfortunately, right? And the price, there was not enough demand, so price went going down. So yeah, it's like, hey, the world is upside down. A lot of issues coming in. And it's not just on the entrepreneur side, not on the business owners. What about employees? Employees are having a lot of problems as well. Look at in terms of our employment, in Malaysia itself, right? This is again another local paper, extraction from a local paper, and it says that, hey, 3 out of, one out of 3 employees are expected to have a salary reduction of more than 30%. And because of retrenchment and because of sort of like a layoff, right? So a lot of employees are expected not to have a salary increase, but their job scope being increased. So look at it, we are working harder, no increase in salary, and at the same time, looking at the statistics, oh my God, employment is expected to increase more. So yeah, the world is, in not such a good place at this moment, unfortunately, right? But look at it again, right, guys? Look at it. Now we are in this COVID-19 situation, right? But the crisis they are facing at this moment, this is not the first time that we are facing this crisis, right? And I can guarantee you it would not be the last. You look at all the crises, the financial crisis that have happened throughout our, this is part of the whole life, this is not even a whole life, probably in the last, let's say 20 years, right? There are things going up and down. But it's just that for this particular moment, it have hit us, a little bit more. It have hit more people, and it hit us fast, and that's why it impacted our life. But what about the other things that have impacted our life as well, all this while, right? Life is full of challenges, okay, guys, full of challenges. You look at it, there have been divorce cases. A lot of us, kind of went through that. There have been like sickness in part of our family, right? Maybe, there was a fire, there was a destruction, and we lose some of our very important assets. Accident that happens to some of our friends and relatives as well, right? What about sudden death? Suddenly it's like the person is gone, the breadwinner is gone, right? And a lot more. So when this happened, a lot of times money issue comes in again. There's a lot of quarrels, right, among spouse, because there is not enough funds to go around. And this is not, I'm sure, in our lifetime, not all these things has happened. And why? This is like, put it in a scenario. For example, if you look at a sort of like a whole, right? A crisis that happened. The first time this crisis happened, right? As if like the first time we didn't see the hole, we were walking on the street, we didn't see the hole, and we fell into the hole. And we're like, oh my God, why did I fall into the hole, right? And we slowly got up. And the next day, you're walking on the street again, and it's like perhaps we were dreaming. We kind of saw the hole, but we still fell into the hole, right? And because of that, we were like a bit embarrassed. It's like, hey, this is the second time it's happened to me. Why has it happened to me, right? And immediately we sort of like, hey, no, let's be more conscious of what the learnings that we have previously. We got out of the hole. But the third day, somehow we still fall into the hole. Oh my God, why are we still falling in the hole? And it was like cursing, and we're cursing ourselves, right? But yet, we fell in, and we're like, okay, no more. And we climb out of the hole. The fourth day itself, what we do is we saw the hole, and now we are a little bit cautious, and we walk outside. We avoided the hole. But it's until the fifth day that it occurs to us and says, hey, come on, Huishan, why are you still walking onto the same street? Why, don't you just take another street that's much safer, right? And that's where the learning comes in and says, hey, stop falling into the same hole again, and let's do something different. So this is where we are, right? That's where we are. It's like this is not the first time we are facing some crisis. This is not the first time that we are facing financial problem. So what are we doing differently? And what are we doing differently now to prevent us to be ready, to prevent us falling into that hole, and to be ready for the next crisis that comes? Remember, it will come. We don't know when, but it will come. So when are we ready for it? So let's look at it. What can we do differently? And what should we do differently to avoid all this from happening? So what I'm saying here today is, right, let's change our perspective a little bit. So it is still about getting more money, or is it about having the ability to save, to invest, to grow our investment, and the ability to actually protect that investment that makes the difference, so that we don't need to fall into the hole again. Right. So let's look at something. Let's look at something, right? When I talk about this, then someone will come out to me and says, yeah, but I'm already in this position now. Where am I getting the money? How am I going to save? Wishan, can you let me know? Right? So let's go to the next topic of how to save. How to save here, we look at two things. This is the thing about, I'm not sure whether have you heard of this lady, Nadia Comaneci, right? Nadia Comaneci. Nadia Comaneci is actually a gymnast. She is a Romanian gymnast, and she was one of the first lady, the first gymnast at 14 years old. She called a perfect score at the game itself. She was, and because she was the first person who got a perfect score, right? The record on it was not 10.00 because no one anticipated that was going to be a 10. So what happened was it turned out to be 1.00, her record then, but she was the perfect score. But of course now, from her, we understand that, what her routine that she did to get the perfect score is no longer the, sort of like the big thing. I was told that, what she did that time was actually now like a warm-up exercise for a lot of the gymnasts at this moment. But that aside, right? But she was the perfect person to get the Olympic champion. She was the Olympic champion, right? But look at it again. That was the outcome, right? That was the outcome of her being the Olympic champion. But it is not within her control. She cannot put it in her head here and says, Olympic champion, right? This is just the outcome of a process that she has been following through. And what was the process? She has been practicing maybe 1,000 times, 100,000 times maybe, a routine that actually won her that Olympic champion. She has been building her muscle, right? She has been building her stamina, her mindset, her diet. She's doing much, much more in order for her to be the champion. And all these are the process. And the process are the things that is within our control, right? So it is not being the Olympic champion, that is the outcome, but we need to control the process. And if we control the process right, inevitably, we will get the results, right? So look at this situation again. Look at this situation again and say, hey, right, how can we apply this same thing into our cash flow? Let's say we want financial freedom, right? That's the outcome. That's the outcome, which is not within our control, right? We want to have a happy retirement. We want to have educated kids, kids that we have sent, to college, universities, so that they have got a good education. We want to have a beautiful home, just a house. We want to have a comfortable home, right? And we talk about, hey, I don't have any worry about money anymore. I just want, a good life. I want to, don't need to worry about money. I just want to enjoy life, right? It doesn't mean that, you'll be a millionaire, but, comfortable, at least the bare minimum. This may not be within our control. Yep, may not be within our control. But what is within our control is the process. How can we actually start reducing our debts, if there's any, right? And then we move from debts, we go into savings. How can we save? Dollar by dollar, ringgit by ringgit, rupiah by rupiah. How can we do it? How can we grow our savings? And eventually, how are we going to protect savings? That's actually going to make a big difference. So here, what I'm trying to say here is this. Don't focus on the outcome, right? Focus on the process. Focus on the process that will actually get us the result that we want. So, yeah. So another friend of mine will come in and say, hey, Huishan, but I earn so little. How to save? I might as well just, don't worry, be happy, right? But I'm going to share some of these things with you guys here. Yes, you want to be, you want to be happy, but let me show you some statistics, right? Because number don't lie. Do you know that all of us actually can be millionaires? If you don't know, or you don't believe me, let me show you the numbers, right? Assuming all of us start work at 20 years old, assuming, 20 years old, and retire at 55 years old. So working life is about 35 years, right? You know how much that we earn throughout our lifetime? Easily. Even if you earn about 3,000, I'm talking about ringgit, ringgit because I'm from Malaysia, so I'm talking about ringgit here, but it doesn't matter, right? You just need to understand the concept. So if you're talking about, if I'm earning about 3,000 ringgit, during my whole life, my working life of 35 years, I would have earned close to more than 1 million. So if over the years, my salary goes up, and let's say I'm earning by the end of it 10,000 a month, I would have earned about 4 million ringgit, right? So assuming, let's say, a very prudent saving plan. If I'm going to save every month, okay, starting from when I'm 20 years older, getting my first job, I start saving at 50 ringgit, just 50 ringgit only. And every year I add on an additional 50 ringgit. So that means every year I'm going to save 50 ringgit, save 50, 50, 50, right? Until, I'm 21 years old, I add on additional 50 ringgit. So that means I now, be saving about 100 ringgit. And I put this, not into something very, very risky investment. I just put it into my fixed deposit. Fixed deposit about, say, 3%, right? And I put it inside there. I accumulate. Hey, wow, I get about 500,000 when I retire at 55. Even at the end, at the start of my 55 years old. Hey, 500,000, not too bad, right? And let's say, right, we increase our savings a little bit. So instead of 50 ringgit, now we are saving 60 ringgit. So imagine if we are saving 60 ringgit, right? And it's like, wow. And then we're earning, let's say, put it a little bit more in terms of, instead of, just saving 50 extra, now I want to save a little bit more. And I want to save extra, every year I save extra 60 ringgit. 60 ringgit. And I look for one investment that instead of paying me just 3%, our pension fund, which is KWSP, right? It is actually paying us, before this pandemic, 6%, right? So let's just put into, this saving plan of 6%. And voila, guys, at the end of 54 years old, right? We actually get 1 million. It's achieved. You've got 1 million for your retirement. Isn't that awesome? Right? It's just, by actually saving bit by bit, 1 million. And a lot of people will tell me that, hey, is it achievable? Yes, numbers don't lie. Yep, it's achieved. So look at it this way. All of us can be millionaires too, provided we follow a saving process. You need to save, right? And my young friend comes here and says, but Wishan, I'm only 20 years old. I want to spend now. Can I save later when I'm 40? Right? Life is fun now. Can I do it later? Come, let me show you the consequences of saving later. Right? Here is what. This is what we call the power of compounding interest. Let's say you're saving, 1 year saving, there is 100, only 100 ringgit, right, per month. You got 1,002 at the age of 20, right? You save for 10 years. You save for 10 years. And you let, the money grow by itself. The money, because over time, it will just, compound, because it's like, it's just like if you put it into the fixed deposit, 3%, it will just compound and compound and compound. By the time that you're 60 years old, you're talking about 35,000, right? As opposed to if you actually start saving when you're 40. Imagine you also start saving 40. Every year you start 40, and then you put in 1,002 as well. Total savings, 1,002. But because you started late, right? At the end of your 60th birthday, you only have 19,000. Guys, only have 19,000. As opposed to someone who saved early, like left it there, don't take it out at all. At the end, you got 35,000. And until you're 67 years old, you look at it, it's almost double. So guys, right, remember this. When you're saving, it's always important to start early, right? Start earliest as soon as possible so that use time to generate more income for you. So that when you retire, hey, right, that is where the additional money comes in. So next, our friend still comes back to me and says, Hui Shan, yeah, I want to save, but I've got debts. So how am I going to save? I cannot even finish paying my credit card now. So, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. How to save when you've got debts. Okay, look at it this way. Yes, I understand. In Malaysia itself, I'm not sure about the statistics in other country, but in Malaysia, right, this is actually, again, this is by our ex-finance minister, right, in 2019. He said this, almost up to 100,000 of Malaysians are declared bankrupt between 2013 and 2017, this period of like 4 years, right, 5 years, right? 60% of them are between the age of 18 to 44 years old. Wow, alarming, right? Being declared, even almost like just out of school. And that is the statistics. But again, you look at Malaysian, this is just the latest 11/11 that have just happened. And Malaysia, despite being such a small country, we are ranked number 4 in terms of spending on the Chinese 11/11 global sales, right? Look at it. And we are just behind US, Russia, and also France. Hey, Malaysia, why are we spending so much? Right? Something need thinking. So look at it this way. So is that something, do we have certain belief about spending that actually causes us to spend so much, right? Instead of savings. So let's relook at this and say, hey, is there something that we can do about it to actually do it differently, right? So what are the savings that we're talking about? The attitude. Some of us feel that it's like, hey, I worked so hard to earn this. I've got a right to spend it, right? Why do I want to save it? I want to spend this money. It gives me, I want to feel good about myself. And then we look at our neighbors. My neighbors have it. Why shouldn't I? I want that too. We look at our cars. I think old cars, just not very safe, right? What if it breaks down in the middle of the road? Yeah, then I'll be left stranded. Time to change a new car, right? We look at car payment and we say, wow, it's inevitable. No choice, Everybody has car. You need to pay for car. And therefore, as a result, we go in and buy car. We don't talk of other modes. We want to buy a new car. And we want to continue supporting the loan of our car. And we look at our car and says, hey, my car is an asset. So it is good for me to spend, right? Think about it, whether it's an asset liability, guys, right? Because the car normally, in fact, hardly or never appreciate in value. It just goes down, right? But the time that we want to buy it, the time we justify all this in our mind. We justify all this. And then we look at ourselves and it says that our family won't be happy if I don't give them the best. So as a result, I want to spend for them. I want them to be happy. So I'm giving them, I'm spending for them. Not for me, I'm spending for my family, right? And we look at it, our kids, they should be our financial priorities. We give them the best computers, we give them aircon, we give them the best clothes, right? Because we believe our kids should have the best. Maybe nothing wrong with it if you can afford it, but think about our savings. We look at the house and we say, renting is a waste of money. I must go and buy my own house, right? And my house, because it is it's going to be long term. So why not? I buy a bigger house. I may not need so many rooms at this moment. I want to buy more, right? So if we buy expensive houses, even like a wedding. Sometimes you look at it, it's like wedding is a one time in our life event. We must spend lavishly on the wedding itself. Think again. And we look at it, it's like life is uncertain, life is short. So why plan for retirement? Let's spend and let's be merry. And the classic would be, oh, I'm now too old, 40, 50, 60 years old. I don't want to learn about financial planning anymore. I just want to spend it and be happy with it, right? So guys, all this belief about our spending actually, makes it very different, because now we justify the reason why we need to spend and not save. And if we have got that justification, then it's easy for us to say, hey, let's spend, right? So what if we have got this belief, then we look at it and say, we will never, never save, right? So what about this? And because, especially, even kids, and we heard of so many scams on internet. If you love someone, you will lend them money. Yeah. And immediately, let's say, you've got a bonus that comes in, someone says, hey, can you loan me the money? And we say, oh, we love them, relative, friends. Yes, away. There goes the money flow off. So what is happening now, right? At the end of the month, our pocket is always, always empty, right? So you look at it this way. And because of that, we went into credit cards, right? I'm not sure about in other countries, but in Malaysia, right? Sometimes it's quite easy to get credit card. Small amount, but it's easy to get credit cards. So what did they do? Yep. So they go in, get the credit card. Hey, don't get me wrong, credit card is actually good, right? Provided you clear all your outstanding balance. But if you do not clear all the outstanding balance, this is what's going to happen. Just imagine you have a debt, credit card debts of 3,000, right? And you only pay minimum repayment, which is only 5%, right? And on top of every 5%, that means that that means the balance, outstanding balance, right? Outstanding balance, you'll be charged 1.5% per month. If you use that, you times it by 12, it's actually talking about 18% per annum, right? Your credit card debts. And you end up, even with no fresh debts, that 3,000, every month you just pay 5%, you will end up having, in order to settle this 3,000 of debts, it will take you 55 months. Trust me, 55 months, almost close to 5 years, right? So at the end of it, your interest that you're paying, right? You're paying about 1.195. Wow, that is a lot of extra that we're paying just on interest alone, right? And just because we couldn't curb our spending, we are, spending beyond our means. So you look at it, wow, this is very detrimental. The more cards we have, and if, the more debts that we have, and we are paying off at that slow rate, there goes all our savings, if there's any, right? All going towards installment payment, all goes towards late interest charges. Not the right thing to be. So then the next thing comes, is like, if you desire to have, a better life, things is, please stop making all these excuses. Stop reducing your debts and start saving today, right? You have to start saving today, right? And our friend comes back to me and says, okay, Rishan, I get it, right? But how do we actually start savings? I'm in debt, right? How to actually start savings? So there's a little plan, something that I can share with you guys. So, this is like an ideal situation, meaning that if, you get 1,000 ringgit a month, right? So what you're going to have here is 1,000 ringgit, and this is 10% of it, you should put it away into what we call a financial freedom account, right? Financial freedom account. Why do we mean by financial freedom account? It's actually something whereby, you could actually save it for long term. It's like a golden goose. A golden goose, you want to keep it so that it continue giving you golden eggs, right? So this is where, you put into this financial freedom account so that you can actually eventually maybe use the fund to start a business, right? Or to buy something that could actually keep giving you additional income, right? It could be investment itself, right? So 10% of that. The next, we look at it as in a long-term saving for spending. What is this long-term savings or spending, right? It's something that's planned for. It could be in terms of our own retirement. It could be in terms of the kids' education, right? It could be in terms of maybe, you want to go and get a PhD, right? All these are saving towards that particular cause itself. And next, we look at your education, guys. Why allocating 10% in terms of education? Don't get me wrong, this is not your kids' education. It's our own education. Why do we need to spend on our own education? It's in order for us to grow, right? Whether you are an employee or whether you are a business owner, you don't grow, you'll hit that ceiling. And when we hit that ceiling, right, our ability to earn actually goes down. So that's why it's so important for us to keep on educating ourselves, right? And that's where the 10% comes in terms of our education. Next, we need to, these are all our necessities. 55%. Shock, right? You can only spend about like 55%. And the next, we talk about play, right? Especially when, we are saving very hard. We want to have, we still want to pamper ourselves a little bit. We want to go to maybe some fancy restaurants, or we want to actually, have maybe if you are constrained in terms of funds, then maybe even a nice piece of chocolate, right, that you've been craving for. Maybe you look like, hey, that could be something that I could enjoy. And, pamper myself a little bit and says, hey, well done, Hushan, you've done a good job. So that's where, that little 5% comes in terms of play. And we as human beings, and if we're able to give something, even though it's a small amount, right, we feel good, we feel happy, because we are contributing to others that are less fortunate than us. So you look at all this, right? And someone, some good accountant will come and tell me, Hushan, it doesn't balance, right? You're only at 95%. Where is the other 5%? Don't worry. The 5%, let's take it as a flexible fund that you can actually put it into whichever one that serves you, right? Let's say, for example, if you're paying your debts, right? You want to take that 5% to go and pay your debts, fine. You want to put it into additional necessity because, you got some extra finances, put it in, that's part of your necessity, right? Or, if you want to put it in your education, I leave it to you, right? So this is the ideal situation. But if you look at it, if you're able to allocate your funds in this sort of manner, hey guys, over the years, we will have enough based on what we earn throughout our life, and we save this way, for our own, life planning, financial planning. Yes, you would be kind of financial free, right? So think about it. But someone will tell me that it's like, yeah, but we're not so ideal situation, right? So we are, let's say, we come up with, at this moment, we are just kind of like breaking even. My expenses is kind of equals to my income. So what's going to happen? How can I save? How can I even clear my debts, right? Look at it this way. This is where a general, do a budget, the simplest that you can do, right? Take out a piece of paper, and what you do is from this piece of paper, right, you put in all your income, whatever your income is, okay? When you put in your salary, please, put in the salary as your take home. Because sometimes, let's say, for example, you're earning 5,000, but, you have some amount deducted, for, in Malaysia, we have it for the KWSP or the EPF system, the employees provident funds, right? And there are other things that you need to be deducted, including here, we are taxed, based on our earnings. So take that all out. This is talking about our net earning that you bring home, the amount that you bring home, right? And say you got other income, could be business income, freelance income, put them all into this schedule here, the income. And then we look at your expenses. Okay, what are our expenses today? Our loan, our food necessities, kids allowance, transport, utilities, put them all down and let's do the mathematics. 6,500, 6,500. Yep. So if we are really in debt, we are really in debt. There's no extra to pay it, right? So that is not going to help us. And so we have to make a decision, a very, very strong decision to say that enough is enough, less. I am going to pay all my debts and I'm going to work towards paying all my debts, right? And therefore, from the expenses itself, think about if you could actually take out 10%, right? Remember, even here, we talk about ideally, your money jar, you should be saving 10% in terms of your financial freedom. So now we're not even talking about financial freedom, we're just talking about additional. Let's take 10% of that as our loan repayment. Whatever debts we have, let's clear those, right? These debts, I'm not talking about, the long-term debts like your house debts, not those. I'm talking about those like, especially like credit cards debts or debts you have taken out, friends, family, right? This is time to actually repay those, to get it out of the way so that we can actually start life in a much lighter load, like some burden, right? Let's see, look at it this way. See where you can cut down. Oh, cut wherever that's necessary. You're talking about housing loan, right? Maybe you can rent out one empty room, get some rental income, right? You can actually look into like your food. Maybe you don't need to eat out all the time anymore, right? Can I start cooking at home? That will reduce in terms of my food, right? In terms of my spending on my food, right? You still eat as normal, but the spending could be lesser. Kids allowance, okay, let's leave it as there is now. Transport, right? Can we maybe, carpool with someone, right? So that we can reduce the petrol costs, right? Utilities, do I have to on the aircon all the time, or I could save on something, right? Cut it down, right? So that at the end of it, if our mind and heart and soul is set on getting that 10% to repay our debts, let's just slot it out, right? I know it's painful, it's not easy, but I can tell you that if you don't do it now, you will never, never do it. And we never do it, we are forever in that position, right? So my advice is, no matter what, great pain, just take it as no choice, make a decision and stick to it and start clearing all these debts, especially credit card debts. Get it out of the way, right? And of course, look about in terms of really look into your spending strategies, spending tips, right? Do a budget, a shopping list. Just focus on that. Anything outside, yep, no more. You got to be rescheduled the next month, not this month, right? Be very, very strict with yourself. You're bored, don't shop, okay? Don't shop with persuasive friends. You've got friends that will tell you that, oh, that, all the dresses look nice on you, right? All the colors looks good, different, all the dresses looks good. All the lipsticks colors looks good, right? So please, you have no choice, right? Until you clear your debts, no more shopping with these good friends of ours. Next, talking about leaving your credit card at home, right? If you cannot control your credit card spending, please just don't bring them. And don't bring too much cash. Limit to your budget. If you're hungry, eat at home. Don't go to eat out in a food store, right? And buy only what you can afford. Forget about branded goods for the time being, right? So don't be brand conscious. Maybe rethink about it, because a lot of all this, branding is actually costing us a lot of money. And look about, don't buy too much canned food, of even fresh food, because if we cannot finish all this, right? Even the canned food can be expired, right? Fresh food, it'll be thrown away. Just stick to the minimum or the best that we need. That's enough is enough. Don't overstock. And next we talk about, hey, bargain if you can, right? And most importantly, this is not the time to show off and not the time to compete with others, right? Just mind our own business, take care of our funds, have enough to clear our debts, and be grateful about that. So in online, there are a lot of all these apps, right? You can just find one of them that's suitable for you and start tracking your income. You have made a budget, so make sure your income and expenses are in accordance to the budget. in order that you can actually get that 10% that we're talking about. Spend within your means. Save to pay off debts, starting with the highest interest rate, right? Aim for zero debt level, except for the long term. Of course, for housing and car, all this, it is kind of like a bit more long term. Start building reserve. Start with a reserve of 6 to 12 months if you can, right? But of course, as time goes by, go back to the money jar. And when you start saving, that is not just for 6 to 12 months, right? We talk about next crisis. We don't know where it's going to happen. We talk about retirement. So, when you have your reserve, that would be where you could actually, build something for yourself and be thankful and grateful for it later on. Yep. This is something that I do with some of my clients, right? It's something a little bit more complicated, right? But from here, what you can see is monthly, I have actually put it down, and I can actually see that this is all my income, and this is all my inflow, and this is all my outflow that I have got here, right? Periodically, there will be like maybe there's a school fees that you will pay at a certain duration. So I plot it all out so that at least I know where is my financial position throughout the whole year itself. And I know that, hey, oh my God, next year in June, July, August, I will be in deficit. What can I do now in order to prevent that from happening, right? Can I save a little bit more? Can I increase, in terms of a strategy, right? Can I earn more for my business now so that I do not need to be in a red? It's planning upfront. You plan now so that in future, you don't have to panic. And this is where I do quite a lot of my clients, a lot of business owners and also individuals, a budget for your monthly spending. But if you look at it, it's too complicated. Never mind, go through just now, month by month, do that, right? So have a plan and stick to your plan, stick to it. So some people will tell me that, Hushan, very hard to save, right? And what I will tell them is this: do it, pay yourself first. Like for example, if your salary comes in, right, before you go out to any of paying our bills, make sure you pay yourself first. Have a standing instruction there and have that money transferred to another bank account. And that bank account, please don't touch it, right? So that could be like that specific account is actually for contingency. Keep it away somewhere so that you just focus on your existing bank account and you have the money there. Next thing, if need to, again, if you're someone that couldn't save, you have got a lot of insurance saving policy, unit trust saving plan. You've got a lot of all this plan that actually goes on forced saving. Every month, certain amount is deducted, right? So use that, to save, so that if you're disciplined enough, make it hard. Basically, make it hard for you, to take the money out. Because if you're going to put it into, like for example, if I'm talking about the money jar, right? The money jar is so easy, right? You see it, wow, this money is telling you, come, use me, and the money is gone. So put it somewhere that you don't even know about, right? Put that, maybe that fixed deposit book with someone, that can actually keep it on your behalf. And then, suddenly when you open it up, it's like, wow, I didn't know I've got so much, right? And isn't that, amazing? Right? So make sure, save, and if need to, forced savings. Go for forced savings, right? So to that, I would say start building reserve today, right? And you'll be thankful for it in terms of your rainy days, opportunity to invest, when who knows, some of your family members may need that money, emergency, right? To pursue a dream. Maybe your dream is, who knows, maybe it's to travel somewhere, right? Or maybe you want to get a second degree, or you want to get a house by the beach, let's say, if that serves you, right? Pursue a dream. And of course, retirement as well, right? So save and you will not regret it, right? And our dear friend comes in and says, okay, Hushan, yeah, I get you, right? But why do you want to spend on insurance, right? Yeah, insurance, yeah. Why? There's a lot of money going to premium. Can I don't ignore insurance at all? Think again. If you're going to ignore insurance, right? Life is full of uncertainty, as we mentioned just now. Anything can happen. let's say, I have my little, my savings, okay? I have savings, and then I want to use this savings for my retirement. And suddenly, if anything happens, right, what are you going to do? You've got to take that savings out and use it. But in this case, let's say somebody fall ill, right? I need to be hospitalized. And if I've got my medical insurance, right, then the medical insurance can go towards towards the payment of the hospital bill. I still have my little savings, right? What about if anything happens, disability, right? And I got insured, then I don't have to worry because that is being taken care of. And also, car insurance. In Malaysia, car insurance is a must. I'm not sure in other countries. So if you own a car, you have to have car insurance, right? And also talking about life insurance, and they're talking about burglary, fire, household insurance, right? These are some of the insurance that I feel if we have, we will feel more secure, right? Our little saving nest, will be protected so they can use it for other purposes instead of worrying that who knows, this may be depleted because of some of these events here, right? So at bare minimum, I would look at it and say, guys, you need medical insurance, you need disability insurance, right? Because, if you're talking about life, that is upon death, you get paid. So let's say, if I've got no children, I got no dependent, maybe you look at it like, maybe, no, there's no need for me to have life insurance. But if, I am actually handicapped, disabled, right? I may have an accident that came up to that situation. So at least I'm insured. So my, I mean, in terms of financially, I am protected. So don't look lightly on insurance. Insurance is important for us. So if you have not got it, think about it again, right? Yeah. So financial freedom, conclude for this section. We look at it. First, you must reduce your debts. Very important. Start reducing your debts. Then when you start reducing your debts, right, you start to increase your savings. When the debts are gone, you'll be lighter and you start saving. And when you start saving, it's time to start growing your savings, right? Don't just put it under your pillow, put it under your mattress, right? Grow it. Learn about some of the investment plan. If you're risk adverse, go on something that's safer, maybe fixed deposit or maybe on the bonds, right? So go on that savings. Last but not least, protect your savings. Okay. So what is going to happen now with this? Moving forward. Yeah, our friend comes in. Oh, good. Okay, now I learned something about my personal finance. But what about my business? I've got a business, right? How can what can I do in order to improve my cash flow during this pandemic situation? Okay, and guys, I'm going to share with you about business, but I just want to ask you guys, why did I share about your personal first before I share about your business? That's the reason to it, right? Because anything that we do is everything that we do. It is the same pattern. If we are one of those, that spendthrift in our personal finance, chances is we have the same issue with our business as well, right? And eventually, if you want to take a loan, the banks are not just going to look at your business point of view. They are going to look into your own personal finance because you are the boss. You are the captain of the ship. You are driving the business and you are approving the spending. And if you're not prudent in your own personal expenses, what do you think? Do you think that they can trust you in terms of the business? Right? So that's where what is happening here. So now if you go into the business itself, right, you look at it here, business, okay, borrowings, can I borrow more money? Right? When I've got more money, now I've got a lot of debts. In business, more money, more borrowings. Does it solve my business challenges? Right? Let's think again. Right? So let's go back to our process. Right? We know the outcome. The outcome is we want more customers. Right? Yeah, we want more customers. And then we want We want to have, more customers. We want to have more sales, right? We want to have more profit, right? That's all. We want that as a business owner. We'll be like, wow, I want all this. But remember, these are the outcome. The outcome is something that is the process that generates the outcome. We cannot focus on the outcome, but what is the process that comes to the outcome? Let's look at the process itself. So instead of focusing on the customer, the sales, and the profit, we should instead be focusing on building leads. What are leads? Leads are people who are interested to actually purchase our product and services. They may not be our customer yet, but they have indicated an interest. We got to go and follow up on these leads, right? And we got to look into how we can convert them to our customers. What is our conversion strategy? How can we get them, to be interested to even, let's say they're walking outside our shop, right? These are leads. They are looking in. They are looking at something, but they're not approaching you. So the leads will be going away, disappeared if we do not actively go out and say, hello, can I help you? And we bring them into the shop, we explain things to them. And that's where we improve the conversion, right? And from the conversion itself, they become our customers, they love us, but then again, we have to repeat the sales. Come in one time, not good enough. Can you come back twice, 3 times, right? And every time they come in, if they're able to buy a little bit more, right? Let's say the initial purchase is 100. And then from 100, it says the next time, we tell them that, hey, you've got this A and B put in together, then you could actually, and they're interested because you already earn their trust, right? So they buy more from you. It's like, hey, your average dollar sales increases. And next, we look at your business. Maybe we can buy cheaper because we're buying in bulk, or we can negotiate better terms. That increase our profit margin. And when we focus on all these things, wow, awesome, right? This is all, building a better business. We focus on things that we can control so that we can build a successful business. So imagine just now, I talked about the 5 things that we're talking about here, right? Leads, conversion, repeat sales, average dollar, increase the profit margin. So if I'm talking about these things here and I say, hey, right, if I'm going to put it into some numbers for you guys here. I'm talking about numbers. Let's say out of all this, I've got a 15% increase. Okay, let me just roughly go through this with you, right? Let's say my leads are like, maybe now, I'm at about 4,000. My conversion rate is about 25%. And this times this, you get about 1,000, right? And 1,000 customers, if they come in like twice, and I want to, every sales at this moment, I'm generating about 100, right? So I use this, times this, I'm going to have 200,000, right? And 200,000, if I'm going to have like a profit margin of 25%, I will get a profit of 50%. Just mathematics, right? Just multiplication. And if I use my head, I keep thinking of how I can improve my leads by 15%, how I can improve my conversion rate by another 15%, right? Including the leads could be as simple as, let's say if I've got a shop, then I'm putting a banner in front that says, hey, I'm going to have a clearance sales. And someone look at the clearance sales and say, hey, I'm interested. They come in, right? Or it could be like, for example, maybe online, you do a different campaign, right? And this is a Mother's Day campaign. Or could be like, one of the New Year campaign, Christmas campaign that's coming up, right? You generate more interest, more leads. So, and then you start converting them, right? There are a lot of strategies they can use. It could be in terms of if you're doing a tender, then how to write a profile, or in terms of, having a nice smile when you approach your client, your customer, having a nice closing pitch, right? All this will help towards conversion. And by having just 15% doing better than before, voila, you've got additional customers on 322. You look at it, transaction. Now, I try very, very hard. How can I improve it by 15% only? Just 15%, right? Increase the number of times they're coming in. I could have a royalty program. I could have, for example, it's like if you come back for your second meal, I'm going to give you a free pudding, free dessert, right? And suddenly, you've got more customers coming in, right? And then you've got average dollar sales. Oh, this is the classic, like McDonald's. You go in McDonald's, they'll say, do you want fries? And they'll charge you a little bit extra. Do you want to upgrade from regular to large, right? That is extra charging. And all this comes in terms of the average dollar sales. Again, multiply all this in together, and you have got 349,000. Profit margin, yeah, maybe now, because there are a lot of new suppliers in the market, and you found a supplier that can actually give you a lower rate, and then suddenly it's like, hey, you managed to increase your profit margin by additional, let's say 15%. And you look at it, wow, your business, your sales has just jumped by doing the bits and pieces. Your sales has jumped from 20,000 to 349,000, and it's increased of 75%. Wow! And profit has doubled, just by us taking bite size of everything, break it down, having a different strategy for every single one of them, and hey, you got it made, right? Do you want to increase it by double? I would still love that, right? So look at it. What can you do? Look at all these processes bit by bit. What can you do to increase every level of this process so that you can double your profit? And doubling the profit at this period is very, very good, right? I'm sure we all appreciate that. So use this. Think about how can this serve you. So next, we look in. It says, now, just now, once you have got a stable sort of a way, just now, when we're talking about it, it's almost like a pipeline. When you have got this moving, right, this pipeline will serve you well, because once you have more leads, if you know what to do, you open the tap, right, ka-ching is going to come down. Yep. And if you've got a process that works over and over again, repeated success, you don't have to worry anymore about business coming in, right? But of course, guys, strategies, right? Your competitors might copy it, so there's always need for us to upgrade ourselves as well, right? That's where the education comes in. So next, we look at it and says, hey, I want to borrow a loan, right? And maybe there's opportunity for you to take a loan. So what are some of the things that you need to look out for in order for you to have a successful loan application? I'm going to highlight 3 very, very important things here. The first is you got to select the right bank, right? Over this period, if you have a banking relationship with a particular bank and you have been diligent in terms of being a good account holder, right? Chances is the bank would actually they want to reward you. They want to approve your loan because you have got a track record with them. But if you're starting in a new bank that you do not have a track record, some banks, especially during this pandemic, they'll be a bit worried. Why are you switching banks now, right? So think about it. And the second thing about bank also, right? They are, in Malaysia especially, there are certain banks that caters towards certain needs, right? If you're in the construction industry, only certain banks will take out construction, right? If you're actually buying land, property, there are also certain banks that would actually they would like this as part of their loan profile. So select the right bank. Then, once you got the bank, I know this is very classic, especially when you go into the bank, the loan officer look at you and says, how much do you want? Then most of us will say, as much as possible, right? And how much you want to give me, I will also take. Guys, wrong. This is not the way, to talk to a banker. A banker is not going to give you as much as you want, right? They want to make sure whether the money that they're going to give you, what are you going to use the money for? After all, be very, very, just understand this. Bank, it's a business. It's a banking business. They are not charitable organization. So often, if you need the money, you're desperate for the money, they will run away. Because they are very worried that if you're so desperate for money, how are you going to repay me back? Right? But if you can prove to them in your business plan itself, it says, hey, actually, I'm doing quite okay now. Not fantastic, quite okay now, but with the additional bank loan, I can shift my business up, right? I can make more, and I am able to repay your loan. Very important. Ability to repay the loan, right? When they look at your model and whereby you have got your profit projection, you've got your cash flow projection, and you're able to show them that, hey, I've catered for this, I'm just asking for this amount of money, not to pay debts, right? But always to build the business. So suddenly, the banker look at it and says, hey, okay, this warrant more consideration, as opposed to someone that just goes in and says, please give me as much as you can, right? And very important, before you go and see the bank, right? Before you see the bank, because the bank is going to check on you as well as the business owner. Make sure, right, you are low risk to the bank. So what I mean by low risk, right? Look in terms of your own character, right? Like just now we mentioned, now in terms of your own character, what about your own credit card bills, your own car installment payment, your own house payment? Have you been prompt? Have you always settled all your debts? If you have that habit, the bank will be very happy because they know that you're a responsible person when it comes to finance, right? The next thing is, if depending on how big the amount is that you want, they might ask for a collateral. Collateral is like, they might ask for some fixed deposit collateral. They might ask to see whether you want to pledge your your house, right, as a collateral, right? Banks, they want to play safe. So think about the possibility of having collateral as well before you approach the bank. They want to look at your capacity. Yep. So now, if I'm going to tell the bank that, if I've got a small factory, I'm going to tell the bank that, I am going to be able to do, I'm going to multiply, I'm going to sell a lot, but do I have the capacity? Do I have even, let's say I'm a solopreneur, I'm one person, right? But do I have my team members that's supporting me with all areas of expertise as well? Because if not, am I able to grow the business? Even the bank giving the money, I may not be. But if I'm going to tell them that, I've got a very capable, board of directors, I've got people who are marketing side, the finance side, the production side, right? Or you've got people administrative and all this, suddenly the bank will feel that, okay, I feel more comfortable, right? This is where corporate governance comes in. And the next we talk about capital. And we talk about capital is this, because a lot of times, right, the bank wants you to actually put in some capital as well. Because if you're not going to put in some capital, to them, they feel that's like, yeah, you're going to take all the bank's money and you're just going to go away with it. Yeah, it's not right. So they want you to inject some additional capital in as well. They may, right? So be prepared for that and make sure you've got the condition. What is your condition? That the environment, let's say, for example, now you want to invest, you want to get the money, right? Where are you expanding in? Is it in a good condition for it? That means the industry itself, right? Is it in a growing environment whereby the bank feels secure that in the long run you will be able to generate the repayment for them, right? Important to look at all these things first. So, in short, before you go to the bank, there's a lot of preparation work. Look at it. Are you ready? Are you ready to get a loan, to apply for a loan? And most importantly, if you're given a loan, do you have the solid repayment? Can you have a solid repayment plan, right? Yeah, so banks looks at it that way. So if not, if we do not have all this, right, loan, let's say assuming, we are not ready to take all these loans, then again, be very, very careful. Don't be tempted on some of these things here, right? Because when you get tempted, it's very, very dangerous. So you get tempted in terms of like, this is something that came into my mail, right? This is before the MCO period. Yeah, it came into my mail. It was a check. And they tell me that, hey, I can actually bank in this check in. It is 2,000. And this is going to be a loan. And I got to repay the loan over a 6 month period. 6 month period. And after that, one time off, there's actually a processing fees of about 77 ringgit. Right? For us, we might look at it and say, hey, yeah, this is just a loan. It looks like hey, good. Can I, just pay it off? It looks like, hey, something, right? But look at it again, guys. Look at it again. 77 ringgit processing fees. That actually comes up to about an interest rate of 7.7% per annum. Is that good? Right? Is this still a cheap and a free sort of interest? Think about it again. Let's do some calculation. 7.7%. Compare it to other things that you're paying. Does that make sense? Right? So then we look at it. Hey, right? This is something that came into my letterbox. Yeah, it came to my letterbox recently, just recently. And it says, loan to hawkers, restaurants, personal and businesses loans from 20,000 to a maximum of 80,000. Be very careful about it because it actually says daily. Daily is only 17.70 ringgit. It's like, hey, wow, I only need to pay 17.7. Like, quite affordable. Weekly, 100 plus. If I need the money, I will look at it and say, yeah, still looks quite good, right? Because I'm getting upfront, like easily 20,000, right? But then if you look at the little lines, the little words at the bottom, it actually says repayment schedule is 1.5%, right? Monthly loan without collateral. So look at it, 1.5% monthly, it actually means 18%, right? So we are back to square one again. This is exactly like a credit card loan, 18% per annum, super high, right? So don't be tempted, don't look at it because it's like easy money, right? How can we actually protect ourselves and be a bit skeptical about some of these things? Because this decision to actually take this loan, right, will actually end us into debts, a long-term debts that is very hard for us to repay later on. So look at it again. Let's be alert. We are selecting a loan, right? Be very, very careful about what we want and the ability of us servicing that loan. And look into the small lines as well. See whether that is what you're getting yourself into. There are also a lot of investment nowadays, that comes in and they will tell you that, hey, invest in this. And in every month, you get like 20% back, returns, 20% returns. So guys, again, when the return is too good to be true, ask, be, don't be too happy about it initially. Investigate, go into it and says, hey, is that something that we should get ourselves involved in? Don't be tempted in the wrong way, right? So very important. So moving forward, right, we talk about cash. We want to have more cash. We want to have more money, ka-ching, right? And in business, in order for you to get more money, there's only two ways, right? Two ways. I'm not here. This is like in terms of more cash, I'm building a business, right? I'm building a business. So there's two ways. You got to think about how you're going to increase your sales and actually how you're going to lower your expenses. That's about all, right? Not something so hard. So we talk about increasing your sales. What are you doing in terms of increasing your sales? Look at it. Don't talk about just borrowing. Talk about how can I increase my sales, right? Think about it. Okay, refocus our strength. Look in terms of our sales. Is it possible for us to look at in terms of, if you have got the data, of all the things that you've sold previously, look at the items. What are your best selling product? Which are the one that's generating the highest margin? And that is the one that perhaps you should relook at it and say, hey, can I relook into this and repackage it, so that I can leverage on this strength to build during this COVID period, this pandemic, right? I've got a friend, actually one of my clients. Right? What happened is he has got 2 restaurants and he has got a catering service, right? So what happened is the business wasn't doing very well. In fact, it was like very sad, the position when he came to look for us. So when we look at the numbers, we managed to find out that, hey, these two restaurants, right, are the one that is making losses. The numbers show us that these two restaurants are suffering, but his catering service is doing well. So what did we do is we made a very, very tough decision. The business owner made that very tough decision to close down on these two restaurants and to focus on his catering service. And what happened? When he refocused on the catering service, because what happened was he used the catering money to actually subsidize the restaurants. So when this was taken away, this was the time to rebuild his catering service. And by slowly rebuilding that business service, he's able to sustain, right? Now he has got less burden. So guys, look at it again. Look at it, business owners, look at your product. What are your best-selling product? And how can you actually, select those who have got the best margin, repackage it, reconnect with your old clients, and see whether they are able, they would take your products in. When you see your clients, help them to look at it and say, hey, don't look at you yourself as the one that is selling the product, right? As in like, I just want to sell you my product. No, look and see how we can actually help them. They are probably in the same position as us, right? They are also in needs. How can we work together? How can we help them to rebuild? And when we help them to rebuild, and then they like us, hey, we have built a trust, we have built a relationship. And that relationship will serve us in the long term. And a lot of times, it's just because we have helped someone during this pandemic time. And later on, when we need help, they would come back to us. So very, very important, right? Reconnect back with your old clients and rebuild that relationship, right? Renegotiate terms. Look at the terms that you're having now, right? Maybe, our clients need a longer period to pay. What can we do, to help them? But also, if you have a longer period to pay, can you lock in their orders upfront, right? Can you have them to say, can you buy upfront, right? So that, I may deliver it later, in terms of a blanket order, but you pay me gradually, by installment, right? So that, you have got a win-win negotiation, win-win terms for both parties. Look at your old product. Can you revise it? Can you repackage it so it's more attractive? You're going from an offline to online, right? Is that possible? Can you have something new? Can you also look in terms of like, hey, previously, maybe you don't do delivery, but now, because of this pandemic, you're offering delivery services, right? So look into it. Okay. Okay, I see some answers popping up, some questions popping up. So I would not answer this question now, but I'll answer it later, right? Would that be okay? So guys, just hold on, right? Just hold on. So I'm talking about building online presence. At this moment, you look at it, it's like, hey, because of this pandemic, a lot of people tend to stay home, right? So when they stay at home, they travel less. How am I going to reach them? Even if I'm going to have a simple online presence, that probably will be able to help us. So explore what you can actually do online so that you can actually move your business forward. Acquire new skills, guys. If previously, like maybe, let's say Hushan never done online training, right? I don't know how to speak to a crowd online. It's time to learn, guys. It's time, business owners, no choice, right? You tell me, it's like, okay, I'm so shy, I don't want, I don't want to be in front of a camera. No choice, learn it. Bite the bullet, do it, right? Because if you're talking about survival, and if you want it bad enough, no choice, right? Just do it. Simple as that. Learn the skill, master it, and move forward. Look at, very important, networking, right? A lot of times, people, it is like, especially when we are down, we tend to isolate ourselves, right? But look at it again. If we continue to isolate ourselves, we would never have either ideas. We are not reaching out to others. Who knows? The market has got a new idea that we can use. So by networking, we can tap on the expertise of others, right? And sometimes, it actually brings a lot of relief when we know that we are not alone, right? We are not alone in this world, suffering alone. But hey, there are some people out there, and we reach out to them. Who knows? You may be able to contribute to someone's success as well, and makes you feel proud, makes you feel that you're useful, you are good, right? And when, if you believe in what we call a philosophy of givers gain, right? When you give, you help people, somehow all these things will come back to us. And that's where, when we network with people, we are not alone. Suddenly you feel like, yeah, there is still life. Yeah. And we work towards building ourselves. Very important, for us, when we are actually stuck, a lot of people, just look at it and say businesses, right? They only talk about cutting down on the expenses. They talk about borrowing money, but they never focus on building the sales, right? Because if you keep cutting on the expenses, how much can you cut? That is not the ending. There's no end to it. And eventually, you will just come to a limit that you cannot cut anymore. You want to borrow. How much can you borrow? You come to a stage that you can borrow no more, right? But when you look at expansions kind of, look at building your sales and marketing, that is a way out, right? So refocus or channel our energy, right? Not just in terms of cutting costs and also in terms of, borrowing money. How are we going to build and rebuild our business to the next level? And that is the key towards getting us out of this pandemic, right? Refocus on your strength. But of course, I'm not telling you that, if it is also very important for us to look at your existing costs now, right? Because we need to consolidate. Because you do not consolidate, let's say, your business, has a lot of baggages, right? You're down. So how can we actually look at it and say, lessen the baggage so that it's easy for us to run faster forward, right? Look at your stocks. What about some old stocks that are not moving, taking out a lot of space? Is it a time that we can actually start discounting on some of the stocks and move it out, right? We order less. If previously you used to order this amount, let's say, 100, but now because maybe you're not moving as fast as you used to, cut it down. Discuss with your supplier. Can you order so that, just in time? So that means, let's say you're manufacturing, that this order will come in every day, you make it and you produce at value, right? But you're not going to keep too much stock. This could be something whereby we talk about your stock turnover. Increase the stock turnover so that, because every stock that's kept in, with us, that is money that's tied down and it's not growing, right? So increase your turnover. Then you talk about in terms of your debtors, right? How can you collect faster? How can you, incentivize your customers to pay you faster? Can you offer, certain discount for cash for them, to pay you faster, right? Can you maybe, offer a deal that, let's say, for example, if they are going to pay by installment, right? Then, even though, they pay upfront, installment, right? They buy in bulk, right? So that, at the end of it, they will still save, right? Can you offer something like that for them? You look at your suppliers. Can you renegotiate with them and say, hey, can I, go on partial payment? I know times are hard for you too, right? I don't want, not to pay you, but I only can afford that much. But I will make sure that whatever I promise you, I will pay, right? So you pay partially. Look into your supplier list. What about, do you have suppliers that you have been dealing with for the last maybe 10 years, right? But who knows? There are new supplies out there that are cheaper, better quality. Time to evaluate and look at it and say, hey, what can the world outside now offers you? Look at new packages, right? Now they are, because there's a lot of competition now, right? Who knows? You'll be able to get a lot of your raw material, a lot of your product, a lot of your services, like at a much, much cheaper rate. So take that opportunity to reduce your costs. And even if you love your existing supplier, what you can do is you look at a new cost, come back, and discuss with your suppliers, your existing suppliers, and tell them, hey, I'm getting this much out in the market. Could you, at least be at par with it, or can you offer me something better, right? If this is a time for negotiation, no choice, right? Money are tight. So time to go to work, time to talk to people, right? Talking about this management, this is also a time whereby we have got to see how efficient is our existing management, right? Who knows? A lot of us now, a lot of businesses, they've shifted from working in the office, now they're working from home, so they can actually lower down the expenses. I've got clients that have actually given up, on the office space, right? And they have actually turned some of their staff, from permanent staff to a contract staff, right? So that they maintain them. And also our processes. Previously, it could be files all over the place, right, in the office, but now because they're working from home, it's hard for them to take the file back. What about, storage it online? So you got to look at your process. How are you going to change so that people could actually work comfortably in the new environment? You look at outsourcing, right? Can some parts be outsourced so that it's easier for you, right? Because sometimes, you've got professional actually doing a much better job for you at a lower price, better than us engaging one staff that you don't know, and you need to supervise, and you're no good at this type of things. Example, accounting, right? If you're not an accountant, you don't want to be the one keeping the books, and you have a staff that actually know nuts about keeping the books. Why don't you outsource it to a professional accountant at a lower price, less headache, and they actually manage everything well for you, right? Consideration, outsourcing, technology, right? Technology. Right? Now, like for example, in Malaysia, unfortunately, because of this limited intake of foreign workers, there is not enough people to work in some of the plantations, in some of the factories. So that is where factories are taking opportunity now to automate so that you can actually do more with less labor. And with automation, a lot of companies now can actually work 24/7, right? As opposed to people who actually just get too tired. We can work more than 8-10 hours a day, right? Technology comes in. Space. Do you have warehouse space that you can actually sort of like list out to people, extra space? Office space, maybe get another person in that will take up part of space so that you can reduce your rental price, or even to get some extra rental income, right? We look at the staff benefit. Staff benefit at this moment, sometimes a lot of people are not getting bonuses. What are the other benefits can you give them? For example, in Malaysia, we have got these HRDF funds. So if you are more than 10 staff, you need to contribute towards the HRDF funds. So this could be a time whereby you take that money from HRDF and actually goes into retraining of some of your staff so that they can be more efficient, right? So, and that will be indirectly part of the benefit. So tell the staff, maybe I cannot pay you the bonus this year, but I will reward you with training. And who knows, the staff will be very appreciative because it makes their work much, much easier, right? So again, look at the roles, staff roles. How can you restructure them so that it's easier for them to work? Some at home, some working in the office, right? If they are going to shift work or whatever, right? Talk about how to make things efficient so that when things are efficient, when it's running well, then suddenly it's like, hey, the money wastage is much lower as well. So I think this is a time whereby we need to consolidate. We need to consolidate. And that starts with us ourselves as the business owner to dare to dream, but dare to actually try and learn new things too, right? I've got a very interesting story. This is a talk that I've conducted somewhere. And this company, the boss was telling me, he says, I want, to, they actually in the retail line, so in the retail business, and they say that, hey, I think, I can no longer be just retail, I need to go online, right? If I'm going to go online, right, that means, I got to get new young people to come in, because the young people are the ones that's very good in terms of technology, right? But the thing is, he have got all this plan. But when I asked him seriously, I says, okay, Mr. Boss, have you actually done any online purchases before? And immediately his reaction was, no. Actually, I don't believe in online. How can you run a business asking, your staff to go online, doing sales online, marketing online, but you yourself do not believe in it? That is going to be tough, right? Because you are the captain of the ship. So it's time whereby you need, if that's a dream that you want to go online, right? Learn it. There are a lot of courses that is available online. You don't need to be a master in it, but at least you need to know, right, what needs to be done. Because your business will only grow as much as you grow. The business will only grow as much as we, as the business owner, grows our mind here. So this is the thing that we're talking about. So when we look at, just now, we look at the consolidation of our business, it's time to build something new. Look at your business model canvas, right? You can actually Google this business model canvas online. So you can actually see, how you can actually put all these things in place. I do a program on this, but if you don't have a program to go to, right, then go and Google it online and says, how can I rebuild with a new business model? And this business model is just going to be on one page. Very simple, right? And then from there on, look into it in terms of your profitability, how profitable it is. You can use this chart, right? Talking about all the sales is coming through. What is your cost of the sales? You put in all your expenses, you look at it and say, oh my God, I am making losses. And as the months goes by, I predict that I'm going to make losses as well. And guys, if it doesn't look good on paper, it is time for you to revamp it until it looks good on paper. Then you follow and you track your performance based on this, right? If you want to achieve the sales of, let's say, here, you want to achieve 50,000, make sure how you're going to do it, right? Make sure you get 50,000. So this is the guide, as in how you're going to project your profitability and your sales moving forward. Then, just not good enough to look at profit. Look at your money as well, right? Your cash flow. Same as your personal cash flow, but now we do it for the company. You talk about in terms of your collection from your customers. You look in terms of the money coming in and the money going out. What is your net position? If now it is at a negative, meaning it's all at the red position, think again. Like all the consolidation that we talked just now, all the sales strategy that we're using, think about how you can actually improve on each one of this. Estimate what are the outcome of all your strategies, put it inside, but make sure it'll be realistic, right? And from here, you look at it and say, hey, how is my business moving forward? Then you have clarity. It's like, how would the business be? Whether is it worthwhile to continue, right? Is it worthwhile when you change a strategy? Is that going to give you a benefit? And you can actually see the result of it, or at least estimate, project the result of this moving forward. And when you look good on paper, that's where you look at it and say, this is where it is. We consolidate to rebuild, but we need to change, right? We need to change. Make sure the change, we know change is going to be very, very tough. Consolidation actually is very, very tough, right? I've seen a lot of business owners actually, business that have been like there for 10 years, 20 years, they decide to shut down, or they decide to scale down and only taking one profitable part of the business. But guys, during this pandemic, do we have a choice, right? Because if you've got too much burden on your shoulder, you cannot rebuild. The ideal situation is, even, this is based on my personal opinion, you need to let go some stuff, right, in order for you to rebuild. Then when you rebuild, this is the time whereby you can actually get your stuff back again, right? To have a new role and to grow together. But if you are still burdened with this, right, high debts, you do not consolidate, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough moving forward, right? And even if you're talking about recovery of the MCO, even if you're going to recover, I foresee it would not be an immediate. If the business was, let's say your business is like that, right? Now your business goes down, it's not going to go up like that. It is going to be a very gradual improvement. And the gradual improvement, right, will take time. And our cash flow will still be tough. Still be tough. Will still be very tight. If we make a decision now as to embark on savings, to cut costs, and to rebuild our business using a different strength. Right. So, but finally, last but not least, I always feel that we are together. That's why I'm very very honored that WBN is actually WBN is here to extend a hand out, to all the members, and actually organizing trainings and talks so that all the members could actually benefit from it, right? So with that, I'll just say thank you so much, WN. Yep. And we are going to look at the Q&A side. Okay, thank you so much. Right. Okay, okay, so now I am going to answer some of the questions in the Q&A, right? It's like, okay, looking at the chat itself, the Q&A, what I've got here. Thank you, Faiza Jafar, for actually asking this question. Faiza says, what opportunities are there for the small businesses in the coming years in Malaysia and around the Southeast Asian region? Okay. Thanks, Faiza, for asking that question. Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe I can look at it a little bit here. The situation actually has changed a lot, right? As compared to the pre-COVID-19 times, the at the MCO time, right? So, if you look at it this way, now at this particular situation, what will be something that people are looking for in the current trend at this moment? And I can imagine, right? They are like a few categories that is perhaps very opportunities that small businesses can go into. One of them I'm thinking of is the lifestyle category, right? Because now, because of the pandemic, a lot of people, our way of doing things are very, very different now, right? As compared to what it used to be. So if you're talking about the way of doing things, so we are looking at, people look at it as like, I want to be fitter now. I want to be fitter. So if I'm going to be fitter, then perhaps, going in as a personal trainer, a wellness coach could be something that would be good. And then we were looking at in terms of also, because now, I'm not sure about in other countries, in Malaysia itself, right? Because a lot of people are working, right? But they're elderlies that actually need to be accompanied to go for medical checkup. They need to be accompanied, to go somewhere, right? So there is this kind of assistance that actually goes with this elderly to make sure that they are properly taken care of, right? So this sort of assistance, I look at it as like, it is actually doing quite well in Malaysia. So I'm not sure about in other countries, right? Then we're talking about in terms of customization, right? Customization in terms of lifestyle, because some people might, now people are getting, because of the constraint, right? In terms of money, houses are getting smaller, right? In Malaysia, especially, houses are getting smaller. And when the houses are getting smaller, the regular size, furniture may not fit anymore. So now they want to have smaller type of furniture, customized sort of furniture, so that it actually fits into their particular area. And that could be, you're into the customized furniture supplier, that could be something as well. And people are looking into greeneries now. Let's say if I'm staying in an apartment, right? But I do not, let's say I do not have have a big garden. I might even have just a tiny balcony, right? But I want to turn my balcony into something that I could maybe enjoy, right? Like maybe an eatable garden, right? So that I've got some veggies there that I can just pluck off and I can make a salad. So this could be, like they talk about landscaping in condominiums. That could be something different that, if you are into landscaping, that could be something that you can embark on, right? And then we talk about being chef. A lot of people want to cook now because they are more at home, right? So if you have got a program to actually teach people how to cook better, they may be interested. Recipe books, right? Being a celebrity chef, yeah, that could be something that you can think of. Then you talk about the marketing side, lifestyle marketing. Marketing, because a lot of people now are going from offline to online. So what are some of the activities that they require when they go on marketing, right? Let's say, for example, let's say I'm going to go online. Probably, my design may not be so good. So I need a graphic designer. So there's opportunity for graphic design. A translator, right? I may be very good at writing. I might only know one language, but you want to translate it into something, maybe a local language to the English language, translation, maybe web development as well, because web, it is important. You want to be present online. Without a web, you cannot be present online, right? And then about social media. Social media marketing could be another area to go into, right? Freelance content writing, ghostwriter, yep. Delivery services, online streaming. Online streaming is getting very popular. So if you are like you're a very lively person, right, and then you like to be in front of the camera, so you can actually help in terms of promoting someone's product using this live streaming. And if, for example, if that sales comes in, then suddenly it's like, hey, wow, it could be something that you could actually embark on as well, right? So, and also the third thing I can think of is online help. Okay, what are some of the online help that people will be interested in? Okay, online classes, online training, online coaching, right? Building a blog, maybe teach them how to do it, right? Start a website. It could be like a lot of people may have got financial constraints, so they may need a consultant, bookkeepers, right? So these are some of the things. Oh, not forgetting virtual assistants. That could be something very good as well. Why I say virtual assistants is this, because virtual assistants, right, nowadays, because of the reduction in staff. So when they have reduced staff, so what happened is, they may not have their own PA in the office, but they may feel that it's like, hey, if I can have a virtual assistant that can help me, part of the time, I'm good enough. And they're just willing to pay for those, right? So think about it. What can you do in order for you, right, to actually start something different? And if you have a skill, if you are a secretary before, and now maybe you do not have a full-time job now, think about virtual PA, right? Using your skill expertise to help someone, using your strength that you've gathered all these years, it will not fail you, right? Okay, that's what I have. Yeah, what else? Okay, what are the 3 things to remember when managing cash flow during economic downturn? Okay, thanks Marina Latif for asking that question. Okay, so what can I think of? Okay, I think of. Okay, 3 things. Because now you're talking about business owners, right? It's talking about survival. It's very important for us to survive, right? So managing cash flow, one, think about, just now I mentioned, think about marketing, right? Not just about just the management of cash flow itself. Think about how you can actually increase your revenue. Think of marketing, making your customer a priority, right? And help them. And when you help them, they like you, they buy from you, automatically you've got more income coming in, right? Also think about involving your staff, because a lot of times, right, when it comes to cost reduction, trust me, sometimes, if your staff is willing to work with you, actually they know exactly where the wastage is. Talk to them and they can tell you that, hey, maybe, if I can do this, I can do that, right? Evaluate you as the business owner and see, hey, what are some of the things that you all can cut, reduce the cost together, right? And if you can do that, that will eventually make your cash flow stronger. Talk about networking. Yep, very important. Third thing, right? Manage cash flow. Go when you network, you look for opportunity. What are some of the opportunity out there? Because when you look at opportunity, it could be, for example, you manage to find another supplier. They can give you cheaper product, better quality, and that will indirectly come back to your cash flow. Now you have got, a lower cost. Very important to know this, because when we're talking about managing cash flow, it's not an academic process. It's not like an accountant just sitting in front of paper and just, minus 10%, minus 20%. It's not. It's about the strategy behind and what are the things that you need to do in order to achieve the results. And that's where you come in, right? Okay, good. Okay, any more questions? Yeah, okay. Okay. This is another very good question. What are some early signs of cash flow problems? Okay, yeah, interesting. If you have done, like the projection that I've shown you guys earlier, you would know. Because you have planned it 1 month ahead. You have planned it 1 year ahead. Won't you know, when the figure turns red, you know exactly which month you have a problem. So what you need to do is you plot it all out. What are your estimated expenses, right? Including, your payment to suppliers. Your payment to suppliers, if you can stagger it as much as you can, right? So when you have got a committed payment, iron it all out and including your income coming in, you will know exactly what's the net result. And if your net result is something in red, look at it, solve it as soon as possible before it hits you, right? So next, who do I have? What is your advice for a person who wants to start saving? Okay. Right, just now, you're talking about if you look at the, okay, allow me to go back again into the, yeah, sharing it again in terms of the slides. Okay. You're talking about in terms of savings. Where are the ways that you can save? Right? Look at your money jar. In terms of your savings, there could be, what are some of the things that you want to put it into? Look at it in terms of, let's say, if you're talking about some people, depending on your risk adversity, right? Some people will just say, I'm not a I'm very risk adverse person, so I just want to save it into my fixed deposit. But be very careful, especially in Malaysia, the fixed deposit rate is very, very low now. Then what are the options? Some of them will look at it into, well, bonds. Maybe you want to save into bonds, right? It's higher. Of course, look into it. Don't just go into something that is just because, okay, I give you an example. Like the price, some people want to save, they want to buy gold. The price of gold, used to be, okay, not as high, right? That time, everybody looks at it and says, no, I don't want to buy gold because the gold price is actually low. It's not going to go up. And then at one time, it went very, very high up. When it went high up, so now, it is actually, look at it carefully and you could analyze it yourself, right? Because have it actually reached that peak? Just because everybody, is the price is high, it may not be a buying price. It may be a time to sell. So you need to have some investment knowledge into some of this, right? Into different areas, some people will want to go into property investment. And again, I would say, please go and get good financial advice. Go and get the expert in that particular area so that, they will be able to help you out so that it's easier for you instead of you just try your luck. Don't try your luck, Warren Buffett says, never just go and speculate. So when speculation is like just trying our luck, right, without knowing the basis. But when we actually go into investment, you need to know. And if, let's say for whatever reason, you want to be, you want to invest in unit trust, let's say, like on mutual funds. Well, take a lessons in that particular area, learn about it so that you can actually come back and actually, be more learned in that particular area itself, right? So that you don't blindly go into it. It's never a blind game, right? And I would totally suggest Don't go into something that you are not familiar with, right? Take some time to learn. Education, right? Okay, so yeah, what else do I have? Okay, my friend, Uni gave this question. So my friend has a bank loan which I need to pay equal installment monthly. My friend has got a bank loan which I need to pay equal. Your friend has a bank loan and which you have to pay, right? During this pandemic, he is not able to make this payment, a result in the loan becoming a non-performing loans, correct? And legal action may be taken against him. What option does he has in this situation? Okay. Depending on which country you're in, right? Like in Malaysia, we can actually first, maybe the first thing that you can do is go and talk to the bank, right? Because some of the banks they are like quite understanding. They understand where this pandemic situation, and maybe when you talk to them, and you could actually have some sort of reinvestment. And for example, if it's a housing loan, right? Depending on your age, you might be able to refinance it over a longer term. That could be one area, right? Or like in Malaysia, we have got one body called the AKPK, right? And if you got too many debts and you are like totally like freak out and you don't know what to do, these are like some government agencies can actually help you to mediate, right? They will help you to mediate in terms of sitting down all the your debtors, right? I mean, all your creditors, right? All the people that you owe money to, the banks and all, and they would help you to mediate so that you would be able to repay these people gradually, right? So that could be something that you could look into as well, Yoni. I hope that helps you, right? Ivy has got this question, right? Ivy has got this question. What would other initiatives that women can get into other than the Panjana program? Okay, right. If you're talking about initiative, right? I mean, it's still changing from time to time. I think it is best if you actually check with some women's group. I don't have the specific things for you here, right? Some are open not just to women. They are also like, for example, the SME digitization grant, and that's in Malaysia, right? If you're interested in that, then maybe you can actually drop me a line or whatever, drop me a contact, and so that I could actually help you with that. So that one is a grant, it's a 50-50% grant, whereby the government is actually allowing you to start automating, digitizing your business so that it's easier for you to move forward. And lately, there's also another one talking about working capital, right? Working capital, so that this is actually offered by the fintech, yeah, working capital. But the rate, of course, is not as low as the bank, but there could be some initiative that you may be interested to look into as well if you are looking for something like that, Ivy, right? Okay, right. Hope that helps you. Muhammad Nuruddin Abdul Manap. So Muhammad is asking, is there such a loan with fixed interest rate so that one can plan for the expenses regardless of the OPR and BRR rate? Yeah, they are. There are some, which are at a fixed rate. I know there are some banks offering that. Yes, I know there are some banks offering that, but I cannot remember the exact bank at this moment. And of course, during this pandemic situation, things also change. The terms and condition of a lot of loan facilities also changes. So you can actually check. Yes, they are, and there are also some mutual funds, right? That actually also giving out fixed rates interest, first fixed interest rate. Yeah, so that because I understand, because now the rate is like very low, right? So you may be thinking of like, hey, whether I could actually lock it in as a current rate. But bankers are also, they're very careful, right? So they probably would not allow you to lock in at the current rate, but they might have a fixed rate for you so that you can actually negotiate with them, right? So this, yeah, they are loans that's offering this. Yes, Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad Nuruddin Abdul Manap. Okay, you got another question here. Can you please share your contact and page again? Okay, sure. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that, right? Okay, let me see. Let me see. Can I share my contact again? Yep, let me see. Okay, guys. Okay, here this is. So you can actually have a look at it, and you could actually, yep, take my QR code. You know, if there's any questions I can help you guys with, I would try my very best, right? I may not have the answer to everything, but I'll try my best to help, because I think this is time where I reach out to each other. And if we could help you, I will feel very good about it, right? Okay, yeah. So what's next? Let me see. Right, perhaps I will just put it on this screen, right? Okay, so because I can't access to the Q&A while I'm looking at that screen. Okay, Ivy again. Okay, Ivy, what we should do? Okay, okay, I'll answer Muhammad Nuruddin's question first. Muhammad Nuruddin, another question you have got is here. Is there online apps or software in which we can do the diagnostic of our cash flow personally? No, I'm not very sure about that. I mean, if you have some of these apps, right, they will know that your income less your expenses, right, that will become either you're in a positive or negative position. That one, definitely there's apps to do it. But when you want to diagnose, you know, your cash flow, I'm not sure, because that is a little bit more human involved, because you need to know which are the ones to take out, which are the ones to maintain, right? So normally I do mine in an Excel spreadsheet, right? So it's very easy for me, and I will actually break it down, the numbers that came out. Let's say, for example, if I'm talking about household expenses. So what give rise is this household expenses? Let's say household expenses of like 3,000. I'll break it down. And when I break it down, then I'll be able to see a little bit easier in terms of where, you know, I can actually reduce. So it could be in terms of my grocery, or in terms of maybe my internet access, or in terms of my telephone bill, right? So I will prorate it down. So that diagnostic, I think you probably need to do it manually, right? Yeah, but yeah, I don't know whether you call a spreadsheet is like a software or not. Well, it's still Excel software. Okay, okay. So next, I've got Ivy. Ivy, would you have any advice on how I can utilize my KWSP contribution as best I can during this crisis for a person who's already 51 years old? Something low risk. Okay. Okay, Ivy, you know, if you're thinking about, are you thinking about investing, right, into some unit trust, like some bonds and things like that, right? If you are, then even within the unit trust bonds, right, there are a lot of category, and some of them are actually can be very low risk as well. Like for example, bonds can be very low risk. So maybe I'm saying maybe some of your KWSP, you want to shift it into the bonds, right? You can still do so, right? Depending on your how much do you have in your KWSP, because I understand that, you know, depending on your age limit, you in your account, what they call it, account A, right? You can only, you know, take up a certain portion. So look into that, and if you need help in terms of advisor, in terms of unit trust person, you can also contact me. You know, I may have some friends that I can actually introduce to you, and to see whether that could help you out as well, right? Yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Ivy. Okay, next, I have got Uni. I've got a bank account which he need to pay equal installment, right? Okay, equal installment monthly during the pandemic. I'm not able to make this payment. Result in the loan becoming a non-performing loans and legal action to him. Yep, I think we've actually answered that question before, right? Yeah, I've got, yeah. Okay, in Malaysia, sorry. No worries. Yeah, thank you so much. Right. So I've also answered that one on by Fatin. talking about what's the advice for a person who wants to start saving. So I hope that answers your question. And Maha Al Jasa. Investment example. Okay. This one, it depends on, it's a very big, thing, right? Because again, it depends on how much money you've got as well, right? They are like, lately, a friend has shown me into, this is actually talking about insurance, right, for savings. And this is under the company of Allianz. So Allianz is offering like 8%, sort of return, 8% return over a period of 20 years, I think. Yeah. So whatever the amount you put in, so over 20 years, they're going to give you, up 8% return, right? And that investment came out like, I think, I'm not sure when, last weekend or something like that. And I think 2 days after that, all fully sold, I was told. Yeah. So there are a lot of investment coming out, a lot of initiative coming out. So that's why, if you start networking, you probably get to know more people who would be able to, some of these people who are very good into investment. Let's tap on them in terms of some expertise, right? So that was the one the last one I heard from Allianz, talking about 8% return. Okay, some people might look at it and say, hey, houses now, because people cash flow situation very tight, so they might say, hey, maybe I want to buy a house because there's maybe a free stamp duty, there are free other things, right? So they might want to buy a house, but again, depends on how much money you have, right? If you're talking about if you are talking about small sum money, then maybe going to something less expensive as compared to a property may serve you, right? So again, this is a very big topic, very big topic. Yeah. So again, if you need investment to unit trust, you need investment to property. Again, I may have some friends that I can share their contact with you, and then you can discuss with them whatever that fits you and whatever that suits your lifestyle and your risk appetite, right? Okay, good. Okay, Vivi, Lisa. Vivi, what is the difference between net income and cash flow? Very good question. Thanks, Vivi, for answering that question, asking that question. Okay, so this one, it is talking about, for example, you're talking about net income, is talking about it's kind of like your profit, right? That means you're talking about your sales, let's say, minus your expenses, and then you're talking about your income, right? So you're talking about the net income. Yeah, I think you're referring to this, right? This net income. But sometimes, like for example, this could be profitable towards your business, but if the repayment, for you to collect the money from this income itself, it's going to take you, let's say, 2 months, 3 months, right? That will impact your cash flow. So it's a two different thing here. On the net income, we're talking about your profitability. The cash flow is talking about your ability to pay debts, the money that you have, right? So if a project may be profitable, but it may, for example, let's say if you have got a project that give you 1 million, right? But they can only pay you the 1 million after the completion of the project. And the project takes about a year. That means you got to subsidize the whole development of this project on your own. And 1 year later, only you get the money. So that is the difference between the net income and the impact on your cash flow. Totally two different things, right? So does that answer your question, Bibi? I hope so, right? So at times like this, whereby I always tell, all my business owner, at this moment, profit is king, but cash is King Kong. Yeah, cash is King Kong. Now, pandemic situation, cash is more important than profit. So, right, so, don't just look at profit alone. Look in terms of when and how are you going to collect the money as fast as possible. And, just remember, just now when we talk about the compounding interest, if you get the money in and you start saving from it, hey, that is additional money that can generate from the system itself, right? And next, I've got Muhammad Nuruddin. Many available investments are not capital protected, and only few are capital protected. What is your comment? You are right, Muhammad Nuruddin. Yeah, because not all are capital protected. Yeah, correct. Yeah, no right, no wrong, right? Because some people will look at it, it's like, if I want it, it's on both sides of the coin as well, right? You want to be capital protected, then that means they will actually it will cost you more. It will cost you more, right? And as opposed to if it's not capital protected, it will cost you less. So sometimes it's a matter of your risk appetite, where you are. If it's capital protected, that means the return that you're going to get is lower. But if you are one of those people who want to take risks and you want to have the in control of your destiny, some people will say, I want to put in whereby it's not capital protected. That means it's like higher risk, but I will get higher return. And they feel that, hey, by doing that, it's like, hey, I got a chance to earn more, right? So again, is there any right or wrong? No. Yeah, it is actually where we are that makes the difference.
Hey, Hushan.
Hi.
Okay, wow. After 2.5 hours, and we're finally here, huh? All right.
I
Now,
hope all the audience are okay too.
I think you have so many questions that came by. There was a fantastic session you had there. So we're
Right.
done. We're good for the day. So here we go. Thank you, Hoi Shan, and everybody for being here today and making this workshop a successful one. Now, please spare some time to complete the survey form we've prepared for you at the end of the session. Now, please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube for regular news and happenings. Now, on behalf of WIEF Foundation, thank you for joining us today and have a great day ahead.
Right. Thank you so much for having me here. Right. It's a great opportunity to talk to everybody. And I hope I'm able to, maybe my answer be able to spark something off. And so that, you'll be able to take it and, something to work on. Right. So thank you so much, WBF. Yeah. And thank you. See you.
Thank you. Bye.